DIY plug-in solar, one of the most cost-effective and easy solutions to insure yourself against the ridiculous price hikes we're getting on energy these days. If you can plug your toaster into the wall, you can plug these solar kits into your wall. But there is a lot of confusion and misunderstanding surrounding these systems. And where I am the foremost channel making content about plug-in solar kits, I want to try and help you all understand how they work as best as possible. So today I'm going to answer some of the questions that all of you have been asking and see if we can't shed a little more light on how these systems work. This first question from plug-in solar can save money or backfire badly. Any idea if the dedicated plug can be off a subpanel? I have a 50 amp subpanel in my detached garage. Would want to put this on my detached garage. Any backflow would presumably need to be on the main panel, no? No existing solar, but do have a generator with manual interlock in the main panel. Yes, you are 100% correct in what you're saying here. And subpanels can be really handy and powerful. So ignore the giant tower of power here in the off-grid setup. Let's just take my house for an example. My main breaker panel is right smack in the middle of the main hallway of the house. So it's quite destructive to get a dedicated circuit from that panel outside. But I do have a sub panel here in my garage, and just to the left of this screen that you're not seeing is my garage door. So here's the garage door, and here is my trusty dedicated circuit outlet. It was significantly easier getting this wire from that sub panel versus the main panel. And this sub panel is a full 100 amp sub panel in my case. Yours is a 50 amp. That's plenty of overhead for a dedicated, circuit's worth of power to feed back onto. So yes, you can feed into a sub panel. And yes, the anti-backflow device, the little gateway CT clamps, those would want to be ideally installed in your main panel so that you can offset the majority of your loads in your house. If you were to put those in your sub panel, which you can, but then it's only going to allow the solar to offset the loads that are connected to that sub panel. Anything downstream of that sub panel going towards your main panel will be caught as quote-unquote backfeed by those clamps, and as a result will throttle the solar. So yes, ideally you want the gateway in your main panel, and then because you don't have a automatic transfer switch with your generator, that is the good news. Just be sure and add in your set of instructions or file away in your mind that before you fire up the generator during a grid down situation, that you disconnect those solar panels, because they will turn back on when they see the power from the generator. And generators are not capable of accepting any kind of backfed power. And so something's going to blow up if you leave your plug-in solar connected up while running your generator when disconnected from the grid in your manual interlock. Okay, so just be careful with that. Next question from plug-in solar sounds impossible. How it powers your house. Heat of a microinverter question. I have a wooden deck with protection from the elements. Is it better to mount a microinverter under a solar panel and run a longer 10 gauge extension cord, or better to mount the inverter closer to my deck, mounted to a wooden deck post against the house, and get longer MC4 extensions to run from my panels to the inverters? Absolutely the first one, the 10 gauge extension cord. That is absolutely a must for two reasons. One more important than the other. Reason number one, and most importantly, I definitely would not want those microinverters mounted to wood. That seems like asking for trouble. They don't necessarily get hot enough to combust the wood themselves, but who knows if they have, a fault or a problem or something like that. You definitely don't want them sitting there on a combustible surface waiting to ignite, especially one that's connected to your house. But then the second, less important reason is that the solar panels themselves output a lower voltage than the 120 volt voltage that they're going to output after they've inverted the power, because it's just one panel to each microinverter, right? So you're not connecting any panels in series or anything like that. And so you're going to lose some of your power just in the MC4 extension run if you were to do that, whereas you'll get more power if you keep it at the 120 volt, extension cord voltage. So definitely just get it away from your house with a longer extension cord. Plug-in solar sounds impossible. Here's how it powers your house. Could you please tell me your thoughts or experience trying to wire the plug-in panels directly to a mini split air conditioner? Would it work, you think? I refuse to pay the crazy money for the EG4 or air spool mini split or window unit. I don't see how this wouldn't work. You're right, it would work, but there's a consideration you have to take in. Some of you may know that I was an HVAC service tech for a period of time. I don't practice it anymore, but I love using and installing mini splits. And you guys may want to check this video out that I'll have linked down in the description, where I took this mini split off grid and completely made it solar powered, which is pretty cool. And so basically this question is asking the same thing. Can you do what I did in this video, which is basically plug-in solar, just using a portable power station and plug your plug-in solar into, say the same circuit as this mini split and offset its power? Yes, you can, with an important caveat, and that is, as soon as you plug solar into the same circuit as your mini split, now all of a sudden that's a shared circuit, and you don't want to have your plug-in solar on a shared circuit. I've gone through that multiple times, and I will leave a link down in the description to the video where I cover why you need to plug-in solar into a dedicated circuit. But I'm a firm believer in having your cake and eating it too. And there's two good solutions. One would be exactly what I showed in this video, which again, I'll have linked down in the description for you to watch. And that's where you use a portable power station and the solar feeds into that. The power station is plugged into an AC circuit, right, from your house. And then the mini split is plugged into the power station. And then in the app for the power station, you simply program it to prioritize solar power first and then use the grid as a failover. That prevents all the issues of shared circuits with solar, because the power station is acting as the medium to absorb that solar power in its battery and then discharge it just directly to this load, and you don't run the risk of overloading the wires or anything like that. So I actually think this is more of a better solution for a mini split and offsetting its power consumption, especially if the mini split is 120 volt like this one is. But there's also another option that you could consider if you really wanted to use the plug-in solar setup. And that would be to get a pack of 2 of these units right here and daisy chain them together. So one of these would plug into the outlet on your house, and then the other one would plug into one of these 4 outlets on the box. And then the mini split would plug into the one furthest away that's by itself, and then your solar would plug into the middle box. And these have built-in circuit breakers. And so the idea is that if there was a fault in the mini split, because now it's on its own quote-unquote circuit, the hope would be that this breaker here would trip and shut it off, even though the main breaker in the house wouldn't do that because of all of the solar power that's being fed in on this secondary breaker here. Whether you trust the built-in breakers from an Amazon device like this is up to you, but it's an option nonetheless. Next question from this easy plug-in solar kit makes traditional solar look ridiculous. Won't a thunderstorm blow those away? I had to put hundreds of pounds of concrete blocks on my mounts. So yes, you can see that they're boosted up off the ground, and so if you had a bunch of wind coming in from the back side of them in particular, the chances of them, getting flipped over face down is pretty high. And now this is underneath the panels, and you can see that they do have these horizontal members, sitting on the ground. So you could certainly use ballast, weight, and that would hold it down. Or you might be able to see there's some little holes in the bottom of the mounts, and that would allow you to drive, some long earth screws, something like that to help secure them to the ground. I would certainly highly recommend doing that because, yeah, you don't want a big gust of wind to blow these over. The only time that you may get away without doing that is to move them over against, say, like this fence right here that's solid and acts as a windbreak. So that way, if the wind comes from behind the panels, the fence blocks it before the wind can get under the panels themselves. If the wind is blowing straight on the front of them, or even from the side, they are not going anywhere, unless it's just like tornadic, insane amounts of wind. The issue is when the wind comes from behind. Next question from this easy solar kit makes traditional solar look ridiculous. Have you tried switching off the main electrical supply or when there's brownouts. Does it work? Yep, it does shut down like it's supposed to. I think it shuts down in something crazy fast, like 10 or 20 milliseconds or something like that. That's obviously the safety feature to prevent backfeeding to the grid when the power is out, so you don't electrocute any linemen or like that. And that's just built into all the kits that I've actually tested on the channel. There could be some random off-brand kit out there that is dirt cheap that doesn't have that safety feature in it. But every kit that I've tested on this channel so far has that safety feature, and it works very well. Next question from Plug-in Solar can save money or backfire badly. Still need a video on how to hook up multiple batteries when you incorporate the battery into these plug-and-play systems. You said it was going to be in a Q&A before, but never made it seems. Need a trick for that. I agree. No, don't worry. The video's coming when we hook up the batteries to the plug-in solar system, this newest one that I got. And for those of you that don't understand what the question is about, in a bunch of my plug-in solar videos, I've taken a battery, usually a golf cart battery because they're built and okay to be outside, and I put it in the middle of the microinverter that plugs into your outlet and the solar panels. Typically the solar panels plug directly into the inverter, but in this case, I attach a battery to it, and it actually speeds up the return on investment by about 4 times the speed, especially if you have like the smart gateway and the limiter, because then you're able to use your solar power into the night and continue to offset your power bill long after the sun has gone down. So anyway, that video for the Mango system is coming up soon, so be excited for that. Huge thanks, you guys, to all of your comment. It is so fun to hear your thoughts and your questions, and this is how we learn together, by being curious and asking questions. So thank you for your questions. I hope these Q&As are being helpful to you as well. I try to do one of these Q&A videos at least once a week for you. Don't forget that I will have videos linked down in the description that take deep dives on a lot of these things that we talked about today. I'll also have a link to my full plug-in solar playlist that has all of my plug-in solar videos on it. And then don't forget that down in the description as well, I've got places where you can submit a guaranteed to be answered question by me, as well as book a one-on-one video consultation, as well as everyone's favorite here, my custom YouTube channel search engine. This is where you can search a specific query, something like dedicated circuit right here. And all of a sudden, you've got all kinds of results about plug-in solar, timestamps included, so you can jump to specific parts of any of the videos that may have something to do with that particular query. So it can be super valuable for you to find information that I may have already addressed in the video and you just didn't realize or knew which video you need to go to find that information. This will help you find all of that. So be sure and take advantage of all of those resources. Huge thanks to all of you for your support. You guys are my YouTube family, and I just love interacting and spending time with you guys here. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hype on your way out. We've always got more epic content, as I kind of alluded to in this video. So be excited, stay tuned, stay safe, and we'll catch y'all next time.